Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 3rd of December 2022. There's some really interesting items of news emerging over the last few days, and I'm just going to talk about 2 or 3 of them. Not necessarily about the news items themselves in detail, but just in a wider context. The first one, apparently a nurse in Germany she was arrested and was taken to court because basically I presume it's a she, what she had done is inject people with a benign substance, shall we say, rather than a popular treatment. And she just did that and squirted the real stuff down the sink or whatever. So she was arrested and taken to court, but in literally the last couple of days she was let off and she walked free. Very, very interesting, don't you think? And the second bit of news is in New Zealand. You've probably heard of this. There's baby Will, who is a 4-month-old baby who has sadly got some kind of heart problem and needs surgery. And the parents, who are both untreated, want to make sure that their baby, because he's probably going to need blood transfusions and that sort of thing during the operation, and they want to make sure that he gets untreated blood. And apparently they've already got about 30 donors lined up who are willing to give the blood. So actually getting the blood's not going to be a problem, but where the problem's coming from is the hospital and the surgeons and the authorities are refusing to let them do that. They want to just use the blood that they've got, which is probably going to be treated blood. And so, and luckily baby Will's condition isn't super critical. He's in a stable condition at the moment, so they've got time to go to court. And I think the case is going to be heard this coming week, in the next few days. So that is very interesting, and it's all about how people should be free to choose what they want putting into their baby's body during an operation. So it's another one of those freedom calls as far as I'm concerned. But again, the powers that shouldn't be are fighting it, and I guess I can see why they're fighting it, because if they allowed the baby to receive untreated blood, it's going to mean, it's going to mean that they'll have to admit there's a problem with the treatment and with treatment bloods. It's kind of a form of admission, isn't it, really? So that is why they're trying to double down. But if the court case win, the parents win the court case, it's going to be massive, isn't it? It is going to just blow a massive hole into the whole treatment narrative, I think. So it's one that we're going to have to watch very closely over the sort of coming days, and let's hope the court comes to the right decision on that. But I'm not going to talk about it too much more, either of those 2 things, but just consider the wider context, because both of these stories are mainstream news stories appearing in mainstream media. And just think, what are ordinary everyday people out there thinking? First of all, with the first thing, the German nurse, they must be thinking, well, hang on a minute, if this nurse has sort of prevented people getting this valuable treatment, and which may well be costing lives lost to the lurgy, why is she being allowed to walk free? there's going to be some sort of, there must be some kind of disconnect in their heads there. They're going to wonder, what's going on there? Surely she should have been prosecuted. And with the baby Will thing, bearing in mind that the mum, baby Will's mum, is a midwife, apparently, so I have heard. And if there's anyone who knows more about their baby's needs than a mother, it's going to be a mother who also happens to be a midwife, I'd have thought. And again, mainstream story, it's gone viral, and surely there's going to be another disconnect in people's heads. Why is this mum so adamant, especially if she's a professional, apparently, why is she so adamant that her baby gets untreated blood? And if she's thinking like that, maybe I should be thinking the same way if my child has to have an operation, or indeed if I have to have an operation. So I'm hoping that stories like this are starting to form cognitive dissonance inside people's heads, and getting them to think a bit. These people are starting to wake up, and these stories are going to wake them up even more, I think. And a third story kind of links in with the second one, and I'm not quite sure. I don't think this is mainstream. It's more alternative media, perhaps. Not sure how true it is, although I can see that it probably is true. But I've heard stories about women who have had the treatment are lying about their treatment status to attract untreated men. So to date, these are on sort of dating sites because of concerns about fertility. I'm sure you know where I'm coming from with that. One of the many concerns about this treatment is what it's doing to people's fertility. And if people are being forced to lie about it, they must be thinking, I don't want to be meeting a partner who may well have fertility problems. So again, this is raising questions in people's heads. There must be a lot of people out there now thinking, exactly what is going on here. And as an aside, really to finish this off, does it mean, especially if this New Zealand court case is won, does it mean that untreated blood is going to soar in value? It may well be that a pint of untreated blood is worth its weight in gold. So, and also that may well go for other things that come out of at least the male body. I won't go into too much detail there. You know what I'm talking about, though. We're all adults. Will things like that just become amazingly high value items in the future? Who knows? I suppose time is going to tell, but just a few thoughts there. And I'm going to keep an eye on these stories, especially the New Zealand one. It's going to be very interesting, but I do think that a lot of people are starting to wake up about a lot of things, and stories like this are helping, are making people sort of think, hang on a minute, what is going on? So with that thought, I'm going to leave it, and I've got a day where I'm out and about tomorrow, so it's unlikely I'll be doing a video tomorrow, but I'll be back Monday for sure. So I'll talk to you then. Tim from Fair Play Now. Thanks for watching.